Kayla, College Fashionista's art director. I'm going to walk you through some quick tips and tricks in Adobe Photoshop for getting your Instagram profile ready for jobs and internships. I'm sure a lot of you guys use photo editing apps on your phone, and those are great when you're on the go, but if you're looking for a more professional feed, Photoshop is the easiest way to do it. So to start, we want to make sure that all of the tools are set up so that we have them right at our fingertips. So to do that, I can come up to my top menu and click Window and go to Workspace. And the photography one should suffice for what we're doing. Over on the left, we have our toolbar. We're not going to use all of those tools. I'll just point out a few that we're going to use. We'll use the Move tool, the rectangular marquee, the lasso tool, maybe the magic wand. We'll definitely use the crop tool. And then for some healing blemishes, we'll use the spot healing tool, the healing tool, and the patch tool. We probably won't use the rest of these, but feel free to play around by yourself. Today we're going to be using this photo of one of our amazing community members. She put together a little photo shoot to go out and get herself a new LinkedIn picture, maybe on Instagram. While this photo is great, she's adorable, there's a few things that we can do to spruce it up and make it look cleaner for her feed. Okay, so when we start with this photo, we're going to want to come over to the layers panel, and we can see that there is a locked layer. We want to duplicate it. So to duplicate, you can either come up to your top menu, go to layer, and then duplicate layer, or if you want to use the shortcut, you can put Command on your keyboard and then press J. So once we duplicate the layer, I'm going to go ahead and make it a smart object. So to make a smart object, we make sure that we're clicked onto the layer 1, which is the duplicated layer. We can come up to Layer in the top menu and scroll down to Smart Objects. Then you can see Convert to Smart Object. And you'll see on that layer, there's a new little icon in the lower right corner. To start making adjustments, we can go to our top menu and click Image. Then go to the Adjustments panel, and we'll start with curves. So to start editing, we can add a point to this graph and raise the line. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm raising the whites, which will proportionally raise the blacks too. You can click this preview button on the side, on and off, and you see I'm making the image so much lighter. Usually that's enough for me and I don't need to do more, but if I wanted a little bit more contrast in the curves layer, I can add another point and bring the darks down. It makes it more contrasty and there's more shadows around her face. You can see under layer 1 that you just added curves layer. You can turn it on and off to preview how it looks, or you can double click it and go back to it again. Once I made the curves adjustment, I noticed that there's a little too many blues in the photo. Not her clothes, but the temperature of the photo. To do that, I do the same thing. I can go to Image, then Adjustments, and go to Color Balance. Once the Color Balance panel opens, there's a few sliders that have 2 colors on each side. So I'm going to start out on the yellow and blue panel, the bottom, move it slightly towards the yellow side. And it makes such a small change that you're not going to see it. So click the preview on and off and you can kind of see it change right before your eyes. And I think that's probably good. So I'm going to click OK. And then once again, it shows up in my layer 1 panel. And if I want to go back, I can double click it and it will open again. Once I've made the lighting adjustments and I'm happy with them, which I am, I'm going to want to clean up some of the things on the ground and maybe a few of her blemishes on her face. To do that, I'm going to use a combo of a few tools, but first we need to open the smart object. We can't edit over the smart object, so what we want to do is double click the smart object and you'll see a new window pop open. This is editing the source content, which the adjustment layers don't. When I'm editing a photo, I like to get really close and zoomed in. And to do that, I can press Command+ on my keyboard, or you can also come over to this navigator palette and you'll see a red square around the area of the image that's showing on the screen. And you can toggle on this little slider in and out. So the first thing that really annoys me is this leaf right by her foot. So to edit that, I can use the patch tool, which is over in my toolbar on the left. It looks like a patch of clothing. Once I click that, I'm gonna circle the object. You don't have to get really close to it, just the surrounding area. Once you circle it, you'll see all these like marching ants, which is the super professional term that we use, around the image. And so we want to click within that circle and move it over to a clean area of pavement. Once you do that, you'll see it disappears very easily. Okay, so there's some spots that I don't like right here, but if I do them with the patch tool, it's harder because there's a line in the middle. And so if I move it, the perspective sometimes gets off, and then you have a secondary line that will make it very easy for people to tell that you're photoshopping your images. So I'm gonna instead use this clone stamp tool, which is very easy and very fun once you get used to it. For this one's a little different. You have to select a source point. So you'll see that it has like a big circle around. You press Option on your keyboard and select right around where you want to. And then you'll see when you bring that brush elsewhere, the image is in the brush. So you can kind of line it up to where the spot is so that you're getting the right perspective. And you click and kind of move it around to get the surrounding area, and now it's gone. Just noticing a lot of these spots on the sidewalk, and I can use the spot healing tool where you have a source point that you have to click. So I'm gonna click in a clean area of pavement, then I can just paint over. So I just sped through the rest of the touches on the sidewalk. I can always come back and edit more if I need to, but that's probably good for now. The rest of the things I want to do are pretty much maybe just a quick edit on her face. So this time I'm going to use a different tool. For this one, I'm going to use the spot healing tool. So the spot healing tool, you don't need to select a source point like we did on the clone stamp or the healing brush tool. For this one, it measures the area around the spot and fills in what it needs to. So with this one, I just have to draw over a little blemish and it's gone. But I don't want anything to look too airbrushed or too perfect, because nobody's perfect. So once you finish retouching the blemishes and the spots, I like to just go in and make sure that the skin texture is smooth. And again, not overly airbrushed, but just a little bit extra softness. So for that, I can use the blur tool. So that's gonna be in your toolbar on the left. So I'm gonna zoom in and kind of just paint around her eyes and on her nose. I don't want to do anything that has definition because we don't want that to look blurry. So if you do it over her lips, her lips are going to look out of focus. So just kind of do on the skin. You can do around the nose a little bit, but not near the eyes. So just a little bit around. If you notice that it's not doing enough for you, you can change the strength on the top toolbar here. And you can edit, bring the percentage down, bring the percentage up. And then sometimes you could even change the mode. I'm in lighten because I'm pretty much just working on her face and the highlights of her face, so lighten works. Remember, we opened a smart object, so it came up in a separate window. So to get back to the main window, we want to make sure we save that, otherwise you're losing everything you just did. So you can press Command S on your keyboard, or you can go up to File and then Save. So once I'm done making all my adjustments, I can go in and just do the finishing touches, and I do that with sharpening to make sure everything's crisp and pretty. I zoom in and make sure that I'm liking everything before I do that. So to sharpen, it's also going to be an adjustment layer, but it's just not going to be in the same place in the menu. So go up to your top menu and then go to Filter. And then from Filter, you can go down to Sharpen. And I like to use Smart Sharpen. Once the window comes up, I'm going to go ahead and just close this bottom part because we only need to worry about the top 3. And so you can toggle between a little bit of sharpening and a lot. I am probably gonna go in the middle of the road, so I click OK. If you want more of a vibey image, you can add more grain, or on Photoshop it's called noise. So to do that, you do this, go to the same place, you go to Filter, and then Noise, and then Add Noise. Okay, so once you have your image set the way you like it, you can go up to crop. Depending on where you want to put this image, you're going to want different sizes, or you can just pick one that will work for all of them. I know I'm going to want to post on Instagram, and so I'm going to use Instagram sizes as uniform for the rest of them, because Instagram's the only one that usually cares. So they either have squares, they have portraits, they have landscapes. And for portrait and landscape, it's a ratio of 4:5. So you can come up to this panel and click 4:5. You can see that it starts cropping the photo in the window. And if I decided I wanted a horizontal image, I can do the same thing, but then I can click this arrow and then it changes it to a horizontal. And once I'm happy with the crop, I can press the check mark on the option bar up here. So once you're done with the photo and you have it the way you like it, you're gonna wanna save it. If you save it right as is, it's gonna save it as a Photoshop document, which is great because it maintains the layers, makes it editable, you can go back later. But it also means that you can't send it to somebody. Nobody else can open a Photoshop document unless they have Photoshop. So I'll save it now to make sure I can come back to it. So I can either press Command S on my keyboard or go to File and Save. So once we have it saved as a Photoshop document, we can save it out for web, which is largely the place where it's going to be used. I like to use Save for Web because it makes sure that the colors that you're seeing on the screen are the same that are going to be on the screen on the web. So to do that, you go to File, Export, and then Save for Web. So you'll come up with a panel like this, but the easiest way to change is to come to this preset on the top right and click JPEG High. So all the rest of the options are followed by that, and so that's fine for us. And I just, instead of clicking done, I click save, and then I can save it in the same place. So that's it. Now you have a great image for your Instagram profile, LinkedIn, and a great picture to start applying to jobs. If you had any questions about anything you saw in the video, feel free to email us at membership@collegefashionista.com. Thanks for watching.